Okay. Patch note review. You and me, chat. Okay. I did read your Discord message, Kex. It's nice of you to ask me if I have a backup game prepared 5 minutes after my stream starts. I appreciate that. It's good thinking. It's modding 101. I like it. Yeah, some bugs I hear in this patch. All right. Patch notes. Hey tacticians, welcome to the Teamfight Tactics Patch 9.15 notes. This week we're giving the defensive origin classes more beef. Good. Knights, Guardians, and Nobles will now form a more solid front line. Good. Be aware of the new reworked Void monsters. Good. We're also decreasing the amount of health players lose every round. Good. Rounding out the patch, Ninja trait has been reworked. Demons get nerfed, and Dragons now care a little bit about magic. Good. Alright. Let's take a look. Wait. Take this portal if you're looking for League's patch notes. Oh, I don't give a shit about League patch notes. Win-loss streaks. We're making win and loss streaks more beneficial. Win-loss streak breakpoints 258 to 247. So it's easier to get a win streak and easier to get a loss streak. I wonder if that should have been just one-sided. I wonder if that should have been only loss streaks give more money. We're looking for comeback mechanics, right? So I like streaks being easier. I'm not sure win streaks needed to be easier. Winning is already very beneficial in this game. Now, maybe with the HP change, that's not such a big thing, but we'll see. Class breakpoints. We've added new breakpoints to a few classes for reasons. Just don't worry about it, okay? What? These are fucking balance patch notes, and you add in the balance patch notes, don't worry about the reasons? It's okay, Timmy. Daddy's got this. What a fucking condescending fucking line that is. All right, Gunslinger 6. Gunslingers have a chance to fire. Gunslinger 6 have a chance to fire 3 additional attacks. Aren't there only 5 gunslingers in the game? So that's future proofing on gunslingers? You can't make a gunslinger. Okay, well, Gunslinger 6 seems powerful. We'll try to get that today. Brawler 6. All brawlers gain 1200 extra HP. Who fucking cares if there aren't these things? Okay, this is future proofing. This is fine. Future proofing is fine. I don't hate it. Shapeshifter 6. Shapeshifters gain 120% bonus health on transform. I thought they were getting at 3. I thought they were getting 130%. Oh, I love learning from patch notes. Blade Master 9. I mean, this, who fucking cares? Class breakpoints don't make any difference right now. This is not any of these, none of these are realistic changes. Okay. Player damage. We're lowering the damage players take from minions in certain champion tier and star levels. Damage from spiderlings and elemental golems. Or elemental golems. Oh, elementalist golems. Is that a typo, or are there other golems? Are like the Krugs golems? From 2 to 1, sure. Tier 4s from 3 to 2. So this is a lot less damage. Tier 5. What is a tier? Oh, these are tier 5 heroes. 1 stars. Okay. I think this is fine. I think people lose too much health right now. It's going to make the games longer, though. I don't know if that's good or bad if it makes the game longer. It might make econ more important. This is kind of an interesting change, actually. Because this is basically everything above tier 1 and tier 2 got reduced the amount of damage they deal. So the early rounds still are going to stay the same, it looks like. But the later rounds are going to be a little bit less punishing. Okay. Oh, I'm reading slightly. It's slightly cut off. Oh, perfect. Oh, excellent. Good, good. Success, chat. Wait, I thought, oh, I see what's happened. I see what's happened. I see what's happened. No. Too bold. Too bold with this. All right, let's try to let's just do it this way, I guess. That works like right there. All right, I was trying to keep it nice and wide for you guys so you could see it because it's kind of a weird aspect ratio. Maybe like that. All right, let's do that. Okay, fixed. Thanks for pointing that out, Kex. All right. So player damage. I think this is mostly good. This is interesting that it's only 3, 4, and 5 tier units, which means the late game damage is reduced, but not the early game damage. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it's interesting. This is part of their changes to make the game less punishing for losing a couple rounds. but it doesn't really do that because the rounds you lose based on chance early are often the early game rounds, which just doesn't affect it all pretty much. That's interesting. Carousel stage, available units from 10 to 9. Makes it slightly more competitive picking. How do I feel about that? Well, that should make carousel more rewarding for players who are behind. I think I like it as a general theory. First place getting screwed might be reasonable. We'll see. We nerfed the assassins, but we want them to be functional other comps. So we're putting some power into the abilities to avoid synergizing the new power with the assassin trait bonus. We made some systematic changes to how assassins move in combat and how they acquire their targets. So should add deeper counterplay to assassin positioning. Assassins jump earlier and their jumps are quicker. That's not beneficial. That's worse. The biggest fucking problem with assassins is the opposing team doesn't decorner. So your assassins jump on like front line and don't kill the back line, which is super bad for us. Assassins jumping earlier and their jumps are quicker makes that worse because the line hasn't had, the opposing team hasn't had time to decorner. I don't know how that's helpful. Non-assassin champ movement is slowed for the start of combat. Also bad for assassins, since if their units are slowed, they can't spread out and make room for the assassins to jump. Assassins can be targeted sooner. Also bad for assassins, I think. I don't really want them to be targeted sooner. I mean, I guess if you're running, like, how does that help? How are any of that helpful for assassins? Isn't that 3 assassin nerfs? All right. Evelyn's attack damage gone up, sure. Her ability damage has gone up slightly at tier 2 and tier 3. I think it was pretty strong at tier 2 and tier 3 already. I don't know that that's necessary. Katarina ability targets have gone up. Katarina has an ability? Rengar attack damage has gone up. Rengar is a card we want to use? I don't think so. Rengar attack speed has gone up. Rengar ability attack speed buff has gone up. I want to point this out, chat. All right. We're putting some power into their abilities to avoid synergizing their new power with the assassin trait bonus. We've also made some systemic changes to how assassins move in combat and how they acquire their targets. Now, here's the important line. This should add deep... Oh, it was deliberately a nerf. This should add deeper counterplay to assassin positioning. This is an assassin nerf. I think long-term assassins are a pretty dumb comp because it involves a lot of just getting one shot by crits, which is really fucking dumb. So I think maybe this is fine long-term, but it feels short-term really bad because assassins weren't in great shape last patch. And I think this is a bunch of assassin nerfs. So, yeah. Huh. I wouldn't have done that personally. All right, Demon. Demon is moving a little on the strong side, so we're making adjustments to keep them in check. Demon mana burn. Gone down at level 1 barely, or rather 2 demons. Gone down at 4 demons by a lot, and gone down at 6 demons by a fair chunk as well. All right, demons are probably a little strong. They're individually too strong was the biggest problem. Their bonus was kind of dumb too. Honestly, mana burn is a pretty dumb mechanic. There's too many. This game is too much about the ults, and having like Sej and Cho'Gath and not Nar so much because she was ranged, but everyone else, removing all of those is super bad. Like having no ability to use those units at all because they never did anything was super detrimental. You just saw Cho'Gath and Sej were dead units for the entire last patch. So I don't hate mana burn nerfs. I'm not sure that they're going to find the sweet spot for mana burn numbers either. It almost feels like Demon just need an ability rework. Like they need to do something else that isn't mana burn related. I don't know what that is necessarily. I do think being improved to interact with the opponent's ability to cast ults is important, but I'm not sure that mana burn is the way to do that. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. We'll have to see. Right now, it seems like Riot is taking the idea of trying to find a sweet spot as opposed to reworking it. So this is either going to do nearly nothing, or maybe we'll start moving towards the right spot. But it seems to me like I'm not sure that any exact percentage is going to fix this. So sure. Varus ability damage, 400, 600, 800 to 300, 550, 800. So a 25% nerf at level 1. Dumb. What is this? A 1/6 nerf at level 2. Sure. And the same at level 3. I don't think Varus 1 was very good. I think Varus 2 was pretty good. And I don't really like Varus as an individual unit. So I'm kind of surprised to see the level 1 Varus get nerfed. I don't think level 1 Varus needed a nerf. Aatrox ability damage. What the? That's a big nerf. So level 1 Aatrox lost almost half of his ult damage. Level 2 Aatrox lost a seventh. And level 3 Aatrox lost slightly. Those numbers seem like, why did they specify the level 1 Aatroxes as the big one? I feel like level 2 Aatrox was the big deal, right? Level 2 Aatrox, just like his ult annihilated everything, and he was tanky enough and resilient enough that he's going to get that ult off. It seems weird to nerf the level 1. I guess 400 at level 1 is just a lot. Maybe it's just out of proportion, but if it was so out of proportion, why was it ever changed to that in the first place? I mean, Aatrox needed a nerf. This is probably the direction the nerf needed to be. Changing his ult damage. His ult damage is ridiculous. But it seems weird that those are the ways they chose to do it. Number 1, they chose the level 1s as opposed to level 2s. It's kind of weird. So, Aatrox health got a nerf. I don't know that that was necessary. I think his ult damage was the issue. I don't think he's a particularly tanky hero, so nerfing his health doesn't seem really relevant to me. And Morgana ability damage got a big nerf as well. We lost a third of the damage at level 1, and we lost... Why are they nerfing level 1s disproportionate to level 2s? Is this supposed to be to stop you throwing in just a single Morgana and a single Aatrox and having it be good? Because it wasn't good to begin with. It was filler until you hit the number to the level 2 on that. I don't know. So it seems weird that they're disproportionately nerfing the level 1 abilities compared to level 2 abilities. I think the level 2 abilities were the big problem, right? Both Morgana and Aatrox level 2 ults were really, really powerful, and now they're still pretty powerful. Seems weird to me. All right. Dragons. Dragons being 100% magic immune really shut down a lot of options to fight them. Isn't that the point of dragons? We're removing that. Giving them a few minor defenses back to compensate. Wait, what? Dragons. A counter comp to spellcasters. I mean, I don't necessarily think 100% immunity is good, but is that going to be enough of a buff? Let's see how much of a buff they give in response. Okay, so they now take damage from magic. They were pretty much immune before, although they have the same immunity now as Dragon's Tooth, apparently. Shyvana got an armor upgrade. Good. Shyvana dies instantly. Aurelion Sol got an HP upgrade. Does that fucking matter one bit? Asol sits in the back, and your biggest deal with him is how quickly can he ult. If he's dying before his ult, it's because your front line died. It's like never because he just didn't have 50 more HP. Aurelion Sol ability damage. Gone up at... No, wait. It's stayed the same at level 1. Gone up 50 at level 2. And gone up 100 at level 3. No one has ever seen a level 3 Aurelion Sol. So that number just might as well not exist. So this is literally just a 50 HP and 50 extra damage, with Shyvana having 10 more armor to make up for the fact that they went from immune to magic till not immune to magic. That is a nerf overall. Asol's magic might be better, but you're now going to build Asol as a sorcerer, I think, and try to get his magic damage up at level 2 as a carry. Maybe not so interested in the Shyvana portion, although maybe just throw in Shyvana to get the dragon bonus. That feels like an overall nerf to dragons to me, and I'm not sure dragons were too strong. I know you could build comps where Shyvana carried, but I feel like you could A, counter that with items, and B, having that be an option as a comp was something that I actually liked. So... yeah, so, I mean, Kex, you're right in chat. Chat's pointing out that 50 more damage is multiplied by Sork bonus. But what is the Sork bonus? The first one's like 45%, so it's 70 damage instead of 50 damage at level 2. And what is it for level 3? Like, as I said, like, it feels like to me what they actually just did here is make... It feels like a nerf to wild dragon sorcerers, and now it feels much more like we're talking about Sorcerer 6 comps again. So... Elementalists. We pulled some of the power out of the Golem. But we think they should still be powerful casters, also fit into other comps. So we're putting some power back in their abilities. Lysandra got a buff, but not at level 1. Apparently, I mean, level 1 Lysandra isn't the worst unit ever to be on the board in the history of humanity, but it's pretty close. So let's see. 75 damage nerf, or buff rather, at level 2 for Lysandra, and a big buff at level 3. Now the value in level 3 Lysandra. I mean, you can always hit level 3 Lysandra, don't get me wrong. And Bran got a damage buff at all levels. I don't think Bran needed a buff. Bran was fine. Lysandra needed a buff. I'm indifferent to those changes. Like, I think Bran getting a buff is not necessary. So maybe we'll see Sork Elementals be a thing again. Sork Elementalists be a thing again. Yeah. Bran buff. Bran buff. Okay. Guardians. Guardians are finding a small niche, but the cost of running one early is a bit much. So we're buffing their trait bonus and letting the Guardians be a bit tankier solo units. So Guardians used to be, 2 of them give 40 armor per stack. Now they give 50 armor per stack, but they don't buff themselves. Okay. Do they buff each other? Brom's armor has gone up 50 to compensate, and Leona's armor had gone up 45 to compensate. I think that's good. Brom was not playable by himself, and now he is. And like an early game unit that you pick at level 2, that's fine. And then you build towards something. And Leona's kind of an underwhelming unit too. I think this is a good change. This is interesting. Knight. Knights are currently a fine 2-piece front line at the start, but then immediately fall off at 4 and 6 pieces. That's a weird way of phrasing that. It's not that they fall off at 4 and 6 pieces. They fall off by about round 4. They fall off when other bonuses come into play. So we're going to improve the Knight fantasy. It's not good to call one of your settings a fantasy. Sure, the Knight fantasy by having Knights protect your whole team. It is fantastical. Little strikes won't punch through these defenses. They really hate small people in this game, don't they? Knights block 20, 40, 80 damage from basic attacks. Your team ignores 15, 30, 55 damage from all sources. So we now have magic blocking on Knights as well. Does it also block true damage? It kind of looks like it does. Is true damage? Huh. So a lot of the AoEs get nerfed by that. Like Ionic Spark as well as Shiv are a lot less. Oh, it doesn't? Doesn't block true damage? Yeah, I don't know if that actually helps or hurts. Knights are like physical blockers early. Darius got a huge armor buff. Okay. I mean, maybe Darius wasn't great, but he wasn't the worst. Garen got a huge armor buff. Garen got a little armor buff, and Mordekaiser got a little armor buff. That's good. Sedge got a small armor buff. Sedge stun duration went up. Now that seems weird. Didn't they just nerf Sedge stun duration? And isn't the problem with Sedge right now not that his stun duration isn't good enough, but you can't ever cast your stun because you get mana burned or frozen to death and then die? Is this just like, we don't know what we're doing with Sedge stun? Let's just randomly change some numbers. Kayle got an HP nerf. Kayle's very strong, so I don't really hate that she got a slight nerf, although she's very hard to fit in. I guess the idea now is that Knights might be worth something, so we're going to see more Kayles. And Kayle armor got a slight improvement. So they made Knights a little bit tankier. Did some weird shit with Sedge. And then I'm going to have to see how this plays out. I don't have a good sense of how much incremental magic damage we're taking across the court of the team. So, I mean, it doesn't really feel like 55 magic damage is going to be like, I just got to think about this. Like Ace will ult you for 1,000 across your team or something, and you block 55 of it. Sedge 3. There's no Sedge 3. You can just ignore Sedge 3. It just doesn't exist. All right. Ninja. The old Ninja had some pretty big scaling issues, especially combined with the Assassin bonus. We want one Ninja on your team to be an attractive option. You can get all 4 Ninjas, and they really turn on as auto attackers and ability casters. Trait bonus went from 40 to 80 to, is 80 and AP a different thing? I guess AP is spell power and AD is attack power. So they get, okay, so their overall attack damage has been nerfed at Ninja 4, but they get spell damage on top of it. Huh. Oh, it's not percent anymore. Huh. Their spell power scaling is kind of weird now. Because isn't that a Kennen buff? Isn't Kennen like the most OP fucking thing ever? And isn't Akali's like the ridiculous part of Akali is she just presses delete with her ult and now she gets a spell power buff? Huh. Shen attack speed's gone up to compensate. That makes sense. Shen. Oh, Shen. I always forget Zed. I always mix up Shen and Zed. Shen's attack speed has gone up. Shen just needs his animation to be smoother for casting his ult. He doesn't really care about his attack speed. He doesn't attack for damage. Shen is mostly a, what do we call it? A meat shield, a ablative plating that protects the rest of your team. So sure, I don't really care what Shen's attack speed does. Zed's attack speed has gone up. Good. Zed's a damage dealer. His attack speed is relevant. His attack damage has gone up. So Zed got some buffs. Zed was pretty good before. So I guess this is saying that the new Ninja bonus, I'm assuming that's just roughly to keep his damage the same. Kennen ability damage got cut in half at level 1. And that's so funny how much of a tuning that is. All right, and then his damage at level 2 got cut by a bit too. I don't know how much 40 AP changes. Like, what's the calculation, chat, for 40 AP on a 450? Like, what is the actual damage difference now? Like, what does this actually do now with the new spell power? It's just 40% damage. If it is just 40% damage, that will be fucking hilarious. Because what does it actually mean? What's 450 times 1.4? 630. So that would mean that Kennen's ult at level 2 remains the same in damage. What? Kennen was overpowered. Ninjas were whatever. So the response was to nerf ninjas but keep Kennen the same? Okay. Sure, I could see that. So level 1 Kennen got a bit of a nerf. But level 2 Kennen is essentially identical. It's a very, very small nerf for him. All right, Kali ability damage, 200, 375, 550 to 150, 275, 400. But those numbers are much smaller than they actually are because of the 40 AP. So it sounds like Ninja 1 buff is going to be, if you're running a Ninja, you don't want 2 or 3 Ninjas. You want 1 or 4. And before that wasn't so relevant. So I'm actually kind of curious. What does level 5 Akali do? If assuming it's actually a 1.4 modifier, 385. So she actually does more at level 2. Noble should be a very powerful buff when you get it, but the lack of magic resistance proved that that wasn't the case. We're adding magic resistance to the trait. Huh. We're also changing the attack speed and damage many nobles so they can use their buff better but maintain their DPS. Noble buff went from 100 armor and 35 life to 60 armor and 35 life and 60 magic resist. So the resist and armor formulas are not known to me like off the top of my head, so I don't understand how much this does as a percentage reduction. But I do think that was the biggest issue with nobles, was most of the damage you're facing was magic anyways, and noble protection did nothing versus that. So you'd finally hit noble 6 running a Vayne and a Fiora in your fucking lineup, and you're like, sweet, I did it, I got noble 6, and then you just die instantly to Swain and Karthus. So okay, Vayne attack speed attack damage went down, but her attack speed went up. I think that's fine. She's a ranger. Her ultimate is based on attack speed. You want her to be attacking a lot, and you want her to be able to apply on hit effects. Garen's attack damage has gone down, but his attack speed has gone up. His ability damage has gone down at level 1 and up at level 3. Sure. These are just weird changes sometimes. I guess I wasn't sitting there going like, man, Garen does too much damage at level 1. I was actually thinking, holy shit, Garen got an ult off at level 1? That's incredible. Go Garen, you can do it. And Garen fixed a bug where he wouldn't move while spinning. That's good. Okay. All right, Pirates. Average gold has gone up by 0.15. Graves' attack speed's gone up. Twisted Fate and I have to see what I can't even visualize what these Twisted Fate changes do. Changing Twisted Fate is entirely necessary because Twisted Fate is entirely garbage. I'm not sure this is playable anymore. Still, maybe. I mean, it's a 50% damage increase at level 1, and like more than that again. And it's like a 50% damage increase across all of the more than that at level 2. So like it's a big buff. I don't know if it's a good enough buff. Twisted Fate was really bad right now. Graves attack speed 0.5 to 0.55. Sure. Graves, I think Graves could use a small buff, so that's fine. And the pirate gold being up is good. Also, getting boots and fish bones is like the worst feeling ever. So anything we can do to reduce that. Like we have right now, we have the range is 0 to 4. I'd be fine with that going, for example, to 1 to 3. I don't care if we want to keep the average the same, but reduce the variance. That's always something that that's almost always something I'm in favor of. So reimagining the void this patch. There are monsters that these are monsters that in force can tear through your defenses you work so hard to set up. Be afraid of the void. Void trait bonus. All your units ignore 50% bone armor has been changed to void units now deal true damage. Feels like they're going to hit really fucking hard then. Casted and attack speed has gone up? Kassadin. Like the Void dude. Oh, his attack damage has gone up, but his attack speed's gone down. No, he wants attack speed. His whole thing is he converts attack speed into health. We don't really want his damage going up. I mean, that's a lot of actual damage. He's a very powerful early game unit already. I bet you this is actually a decrease in an increase in damage, but a decrease in survivability. I don't think Kassadin wants a decrease in survivability. His issue already is his level 2 version of Kassadin is very powerful early, but drops off super sharply and isn't very good with things like you need him as a sorcerer right now, but I don't think that change is very good for Kassadin. I don't know that Kassadin was overpowered. He was strong early, fell off sharply. It's kind of what a level 1 unit ought to be doing, I think. So Kha'Zix's ability damage, non-isolated, 150, 250, 350 to 150, 300. What? Oh, non-isolated got a buff. So Kha'Zix's ability damage is now, when they're non-isolated, got a slight buff across level 2 and level 3. Kha'Zix doesn't need... Why also do they not spell Kha'Zix the same here as they do in game? Isn't there like an apostrophe in Kha'Zix's name? All right, Kha'Zix attack damage has gone up. Rek'Sai attack damage has gone up 25%. And his ability damage has gone up. Her ability damage has... Oh, maybe it's Rek'Sai. Kha'Zix had it too. Rek'Sai's ability heal... It heals? It heals. Has gone down. Damage has gone up. Heal has gone down. Level 1 Rek'Sai sees a nerf. Wow. That's impressive. Okay, Cho'Gath attack speed has gone up. Cho'Gath ability damage has gone up. Cho'Gath ability knock up has gone slightly down. Yeah, so I think Cho'Gath ability is now going to be, with demons getting a slight nerf and Void now doing true damage, presumably this applies to ultimates as well. Feels like Cho'Gath might do some damage. Could be good. Could be good. All right, Yordles. Yordles are in a pretty good spot, but it can feel really bad when the dodge doesn't work on things it probably should. This is an acknowledgement of coding issues. We're making a small adjustment and improving the 3-piece so you could throw Yordles into many other comps. Good. Yordles, 25% at level 3 and 60% at level 6 has gone to 30 and 55. Okay. Also dodge on hit effects. I didn't realize they weren't. That makes a big deal. That might explain why they weren't beating gunslingers, even though it feels like they ought to have beat gunslingers. Lulu armor has gone down slightly. That's fine. Lulu's very strong. Viger has gained a 50 HP. I don't know that Viger needed a change one way or the other, but sure. And Nar AD has gone up. That doesn't make any sense. AD is a attack. I don't know. I don't remember which is. This is not the spell damage one, right? This is the physical damage one. How is there a third physical modifier, by the way, chat? I thought we already had damage and attack speed. So what does this modifier do? It just adds damage somehow? Weird. Okay, other champions. If units are adjusting apart from their traits for making it more likely for Blitz to get a second grab off, Karthus needs to be just a little bit scarier. Yasuo isn't quite pulling off the solo kill stunts he should as a 5-cost unit, so we're buffing him a little bit. Last but not least, Ashe and Kindred aren't pulling their weight, so we're giving them more damage. Yeah, but okay, so this is just Nar's attack. This is the same as all the ones we've been reading. So where's Vayne? Where the hell did Vayne go? I want to read this like the way they phrase this. Yeah, okay, but why did they abbreviate it? Here it's attack damage, and it's been attack damage all the way through the patch notes, and then they show up and it's AD. Sure, whatever. Okay. Maybe they got tired of writing the notes by this stage. So this is just attack damage. So a slight increase on Gnar attack damage. I don't think that matters. Few units that are adjusting apart from their traits for making it more like... Okay, we already read that. So Blitz gets less mana, so he ults more often. Sure. Blitz is a very powerful ult. I think Blitz is one of the unique units in the game, so I think that's kind of cool. Ashe got slightly more attack damage. Kindred got slightly more attack damage. That's the buff they thought Kindred needed. Kindred was feeling a little bit underpowered. So we buffed his auto attack damage. That is not why Kindred would be underpowered. That's Kindred. Not. I was thinking Karthus. That's fine. The Rangers getting attack damage is fine. It means that when they're attacking very rapidly, they do more damage. That's okay. Morgana, ability cast time 0.35 to 0.5 second to match all other champs. So she's going to get her ult off less often now. Okay, that's 2 Morgana nerfs. This is actually a fairly big Morgana nerf because you often ran Morgana in the front line because her ult does so much damage and it was so easy to get off. Yasuo attack damage way up. Carthage ability damage gone up quite a bit too. 100 at level 2 and 50 at level 1. Probably good. And ability targets, I didn't even realize. I thought I hit the whole team. So it's interesting. So now it will pretty much hit the whole team. Okay, I think that's a Karthus buff for sure. Items. The locket has been redesigned again. Not in the patch notes. I added that. It still provides valuable shields for the start of combat, but it's much less about permanent health. 4 seconds? That's a nerf. It feels really bad. The locket might not be very good right now. Like you have to be on the front line, immediately getting focused for 4 seconds to be worth something, especially if you're only gaining an additional 50 HP. It's not like 80% of the locket's value was it's not like you got a huge buff in the locket. Like, okay, imagine this, a very powerful short-term buff versus a moderately powerful long-term buff, right? That would be the trade-off, but we haven't done that. We've gone a moderately powerful long buff and changed that to a moderately powerful short buff. That's a huge nerf for locket.
Fresh from the stagecoach.
Kylox, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. I should point that out, by the way, chat. If you have Twitch Prime subs and you're wondering how do I support Filthy on a way that I could do from time to time that costs me nothing but helps his life immensely, Twitch Prime subs are that answer. All right, Ionic Spark damage nerfed, good. Hush silence duration, so nerfed by 25%, which is quite a bit. Hush silence duration from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, good. Hush was really overpowered right now. It's hilarious that they can like 50% nerf an item and still think it's reasonable, but it was really overpowered, so sure. Static shiv damage from 100 to 90. And they did buff Rangers, so that doesn't actually look like a static shiv nerf to me. That looks a little bit, well, I mean, they didn't buff Ranger attack speed. Maybe it's a slight static shiv nerf. This is the size of a nerf that I'd like to see. This type of nerf is really big. It's surprising I went from 5 to 3 instead of 5 to 4. You think the proc chance was a problem, not the duration. See, I don't agree with that. I mean, depends. We're looking at the total amount of silence. There's 2 ways to do that. If you apply the buff over and over again, that's one way to get silence. Or if the buff is very long, you just get silence. It's just, I think we're looking at average time that a unit is silenced, and there's 2 ways to do that. So I'm not sure that changing one versus changing the other makes much of a difference. All right, clarity and VFX changes. Akali adjusted her ability to more closely resemble its hitbox. Good, because currently I'm always surprised by what gets hit by Akali ult and what isn't. I'm like, oh wow, that guy died, and that guy didn't get hit, but he's standing right next to Akali. What happened? And how did my guy 6 tiles away die? Gangplank improved barrel placement logic, and they persist if Gangplank dies while the fuse is lit. That's good, because Gangplank ult right now is hilariously, stupidly dumb. Like, it doesn't do anything, and then sometimes it just kills the opposing team, and there's nothing in between, and you never know what's going to happen, and it's totally unpredictable. So I don't mind Gangplank being less variance. Kale added cast VFX and adjusted auto attack missile VFX. I don't know what that's realistically going to do for her. Kennen changed which animation plays while casting his ability. Okay. Morgana, spell cast time increased to match other champions. That was already listed in another part of this notes, right? Sej changed which animation plays when casting her ability. Oh, I forgot Sej is a her. Volibear changed which animation plays when he crits. Okay. Bug fixes. Rek'Sai will now be healed by redemption while burrowed. Well, that was the one I was looking for. It's really good. The Darken item. What is Darken? Will no longer give mana to demons when equipped during combat phase. Oh, it's the demon one. What? Why not? If you equip tiers mid-fight, you get mana. Why would equipping a double tier mid-fight not give mana? Oh, to demons. Oh, I missed this. This is the critical side. Okay, I see. Because people are just dropping on a demon, give him 60 mana, drop it on a demon, give him 60 mana. No, that's good. That's a bug fix. Okay, Main can no longer apply silver bolts onto units in Shen's Spirit Refuge. Okay, Frozen Heart will no longer break for a round when selling its host units. Okay, Dragon Claw will no longer reduce damage from champion abilities that deal true damage. Ooh, okay, didn't know it was doing that. The play again button will now. This is so good. Yes. The play again button will take you back to the same queue you just played. Oh, so good.